Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning. Hope you're all doing great. It is Friday Eve. I cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth, to be honest with you. But we got a jam-packed show today. I'm excited. Not only are we going to do some mock drafts and go over some that may have happened yesterday, we're going to rank the top 10 NFL prospects going into the upcoming draft. Talk about the Wings and their thrilling game last night. Granted, they lost, but Jesus Christ, down 4-0. Back to 4-3, end up losing 8-5.
13 goals.
It was a good hockey game. 13 goals. You can't ask for that in 2-3 hockey games. Happened in one game. Awesome. Michael Thomas of the Saints. What's going on with him? Should the Lions pursue him? We've got so much today. I am so excited. Thank you for joining us. Whether you're listening in live on the app, live on Twitter, YouTube, or Twitch, thank you for joining us this morning. Can't appreciate you enough. Let's get it started. All right, Jeff, let me tell you. You know I'm not a fan of, tooting my own horn too much.
Oh, you?
Me?
No.
Oh, boy. Me? But
No.
I will say, look, some of these mock draft simulators, some kind of add up, most don't.
Right.
All right? And that brings me to what I did yesterday. So I got involved in the mock draft game. And what do you know? I pulled out a pretty good haul, if I do say so myself. Oh, man. So, of course, number 2 overall pick, and I want you guys to keep in mind, I am not trading up, down, etc. This is all just take what the Lions have in the first 5 rounds. All right?
Okay.
So, Jeff, number 2 overall pick, I went Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay, solid.
All right?
Solid.
Any objections in this room? Anybody frustrated, upset? It's not Aiden. It's not Hamilton. Anybody? No? Good.
Hopefully not.
No? Good. So, of course, with the next pick, at number 31, where they're projected currently, the Detroit Lions select Chris Olave. Now, I know what you're saying, Adam. Why Chris Olave, Ohio State? Well, let me tell you this. Drake London was not available. Most of the wide receivers at this point in time were not available.
Oh, Wilson?
Garrett Wilson was gone. The only options I had were David Bell or Chris Olave. And excuse me, I am taking Chris Olave.
Yeah.
So, this is where things get interesting. With the second-round pick, do you know who fell on the board, Jeff? It's a linebacker I kind of like. Nakobe Dean.
To the second?
To the second round. And let me tell you, because I will be fair. Look, I get how AI works. I really do. It's like my background. When I saw Olave at 31, I knew Nakobe Dean would fall another 4 picks.
Because of who
if
was
I
selecting?
had taken Dean, Olave would not have been there in the second round. So, I kind of manipulated the system. But hey, not my problem. These guys were available. So, of course, we get Nakobe Dean. And then in the third round, things get even more interesting.
Okay.
We draft another edge rusher, Nick Benito.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a great draft.
Nick
At least up to
Benito
4
in the third
picks.
round. And then, of course, we go on to draft Nick Cross later on. So here you go. Here's a
Safety.
picture of the full draft. And then we finish it with Mika McFadden, who I think is an absolute unit. An absolute unit
Yeah,
out of Indiana.
that's quite the draft.
Now, if you told me I could get 3 of these 6 players, I would be ecstatic. Seriously. I mean, this is...
Yeah, the first 3 picks.
If I can get Mika McFadden in the 5th round, that is a home run. I may have to not even consider drafting Nakobe Dean, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, listen, when you tell me 3 defensive players are on the board that I don't think should be on the board given where they were, I'm taking them.
Yeah.
I don't think Nick Benito falls to 66. I don't think Nakobe Dean falls to 34. And I sure as hell don't think Micah McFadden falls to 176. That's not bad, if you ask me.
You got probably 5, 6, if not all of them are starters.
Now I know what you guys are saying. Well, Adam, why don't you just take Hamilton at 2, take a wide receiver in the second round, draft your linebacker, etc. Look, I get it. But god damn it. Not bad. Not bad for a mock draft. Not bad.
No, yeah. Those first 4, man, make an impact right away. So that's a good draft. That's the ideal draft you want. I mean, if you're drafting, got guys that can play right away. You got Kayvon, Chris Olave, Nakobe Dean, Nick Bonito. Like, yeah. That's why I love doing these draft simulators. It's so much fun.
Yeah, look,
so
again,
much fun.
do I think Nakobe Dean falls out of the first round, let alone the top 20? No. To be honest, my preference is actually Devin Lloyd out of Utah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that kid.
He's all,
but again,
complete.
somebody like Mika McFadden out of Indiana, an absolute unit. Now, can he be a Micah Parsons year 1? Maybe not. But, oh my goodness. You get McFadden in the 4th, 5th round, that is an absolute steal. It is a deep draft class. And to be honest, I loved it. I really did. But here we are, Jeff. What do you do with the number 2 overall pick?
I like it. I like Kayvon. That's probably my preference now. Am I going to argue Aiden, or, Kayvon over Aiden? I could care less, but if you would have had Aiden Hutchinson on that list, I probably wouldn't have gave you any backlash. But I like Kayvon just because of the ceiling, and that's a big part of it. But the next 2 picks after that get even better for you. Chris Olave will be interesting. I want to see who's available, especially if the Rams get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't
possibly
see
win
Olave
it.
being available at 31.
End of the first round.
So here we go. I'm going to be a nice guy, and I'm going to do one with all of you at home.
Yay!
And Jeff, would love for you to join me.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's start with the number 2 overall pick. The Jaguars actually take Aiden Hutchinson allegedly in this scenario, so
right
he's
in your
off the
lap.
board. Now, are we going safety?
Hell,
I don't want to,
no.
and nor do I believe it's the right choice. I am going to take Kayvon Thibodeau. All right, any problems at this point? I think we can all agree if the guy's there at number 2, you're probably taking him.
You're taking him.
It seems like the right decision. I don't have an issue with it. So here we go. We're drafting at number 31 now. Jeff, here are your available players. You can take Sam Howell, Nakobe Dean, Jaquan Brisker, Drake London. Now, I'm going to spice things up this morning. Because you know what? I really do believe Sam Howell is going to have one of those Zach Wilson type shoot up the board moments. And I would not be surprised if the Detroit Lions take a chance at the end of the first round on a quarterback who was ranked number 1 in the nation for the last basically 2.5, 3 years.
He just wasn't draft eligible.
And then, of course, he loses his weapons, his run game, and he falls. So I am actually going to draft a quarterback in this scenario. I'm going to draft Sam Howell.
Yeah.
I am going to draft Sam Howell.
Out of all
and I wouldn't hate it if Brad Holmes did it.
I wouldn't either, because if you look at all the quarterback prospects, Kenny Pickett's going to be gone in the top 15. So with Sam Howell, I mean, to me, that's the second over Malik Willis, of course. So I don't mind Sam Howell. Switch it up a little bit.
So here we are. And I can't believe the players available right now in the second round in this mock. This may be an even better draft than the one I posted on Twitter. I have my option at wide receiver between Jahan Dotson and Drake London. Now, me personally, I would take Drake London. I think that size, that high ceiling, I don't think you can go wrong, right?
Yeah.
But there's also Nakobe Dean and Jaquan Brisker. We do need a safety. That is a thing in Detroit. But
Brisker.
you probably sign, or I should say re-sign Walker. So, you know what? I'm going to pass on the safety in the second round. I'm going to grab a receiver. I'm going to grab Drake London. Any objections before I do this?
No, I wouldn't. No.
So here we go. Your first 3 picks are an edge rusher, a quarterback, and a wide receiver. Now, I think we can all agree this defense needs a ton of help. So it's probably going to be the defense for the rest of the draft, in my opinion.
Yep.
Here are the next picks. We go to the 3rd round. Players available.
Linebackers or safeties?
There are linebackers, safeties, corners available. Josh Jobe is available. I'm not interested in reaching on him.
Yeah.
I am not so comfortable right now in the 3rd round. I don't see anything I love. I really don't. Any recommendations in the chat for the 3rd round? Be my guest. Throw them my way. David Bell was not available in the scenario. He did go in the 1st round. Chris Olave went in the 1st round. I am tired of seeing Nakobe Dean drafted at 31, 34, 36. It makes no sense to me.
I could see him at most 25, 20.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
He's going to stay.
It doesn't add up. Look, I do not like who our options are right now in the 3rd round. Kyler Gordon out of Washington. No, there is not a single player I like right now, to be honest. I wish I could trade back.
And who knows? Maybe they'll trade up a little bit. A couple picks in the 1st round if they really like somebody.
Man.
Maybe if Nakobe Dean falls. I know someone was saying that in the chat. I mean, you never know.
Oof. Wow, this is a tough one. You know what? I am going through this list, and I do not like it. I'm going to reach and I'm going to take Josh Jobe
Corner.
out of Alabama, yeah. I do not like the players at the top. I don't like Tyler Smith. You don't need a tackle. You don't need an O-lineman. You don't need any of these guys. I don't need a wide receiver. I don't need Kenneth Walker. I don't need any of these receivers. I already took one. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm reaching for Josh Jobe in this scenario. Let's see what else is on the board.
Probably go safety.
All right, now we're in the 4th round.
Or linebacker.
You could get a safety. You could get a linebacker. In this scenario, I think I want... This is a tough decision. Now, Nick Cross is available. Obviously, I drafted him last time, but Funky in the chat did say he's not a fan. So, this is interesting. Safeties are not really something I like here. There's the safety out of Oregon, McKinley III.
I like him.
That's an option.
Yeah.
But here we are. Here we are. I'm very curious right now. I do want a linebacker. I think McFadden falls to me, to be honest. If I don't select him now, I could get Weatherford out of Miami, Ohio. Nick Cross is available out of Maryland. He's okay. I understand your guys' I would say, you being reserved on the idea of taking Nick Cross. I have no issues with that. Whew. This is tough. There's quarterbacks available, but we already took our quarterback. I already have a linebacker in mind who I want. I want Micah McFadden. That is the guy I am absolutely in love with. There's Reed Blankenship out of Middle Tennessee at safety. There's so many options. And by the way, if you're asking where this mock is from, this is from thedraftnetwork.com. Feel free to go on there and join us and do this. But I'm going to reach, again, I want the players I want. I'm taking Micah McFadden with the 4th round pick. I'm sorry. Maybe too high. I don't care. Yeah, well, Benji, we already drafted Sam Howell at 31, so I'm unfortunately not going to take another quarterback in this version. Let's see, Samuel Bush, Iowa State. He was already gone. He actually goes pretty high in these mock drafts. I don't see him going past really the end of the 2nd, early 3rd. So he's going off the board pretty early. I forgot about Howell. Yep, yeah. We took Howell at 31. Maybe a guy we have in mind for a return specialist. I would say Jaden Reed, but he's not coming out. He's going back to Michigan State.
Yeah.
Naylor's available, but here we go. 5th round, our last pick, because I'm only going to do 5 rounds. I don't want this to take too long. There are linebackers available. We already took one. Byron Cook out
take a
of
safety yet?
Cincinnati at safety. There aren't really safeties I like right now. There aren't any safeties that... Maybe Amari Carter out of Miami. You can go Charleston Rambo, wide receiver out of Miami as well. But, again, Nick Grant, safety out of Virginia. You know what? I am going to take a leap on... We're going to go Junai Thomas out of Georgia. We're going to take an SEC player. So, here we go. Our draft was Kayvon Thibodeau, Sam Howell, Drake London, Josh Jobe, Micah McFadden, and Junai Thomas. Not bad.
No.
Not bad.
Address some positions.
I don't mind it. Again, look, I have a hard time taking Kyle Hamilton at 2, so I'm just not going to do it. No. I'm really not.
And we're not trading down. So.
And I'm not going to entertain it. But look, it wouldn't surprise me if the Lions drafted Sam Howell at the end of the 1st round if he's there.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions tried to move up to get him if they were all in on him. Don't count it out. We got to go to break. When we get back, the challenges of drafting, quote-unquote, Jeff, the franchise guy. We just talked about Sam Howell. Mm-hmm. Why is it so difficult? You see the arm talent. Yep. You see the mobility. You see the size. Why is it so hard? And why do teams whiff so often drafting NFL quarterbacks? We'll talk about that next. But before we do, please tell everybody at home about Cintron.
Well, listen, guys, Cintron, I had this last week. It's absolutely delicious. Energized me for that morning. And Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. Hopefully you got some last night for that Wings game. If you're looking for a premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at cintronworld.com. Use the promo code REDWINGS10 and save 10% with shipping included. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that
is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Greg Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Adam and Jeff have great hair. Their sports opinions are pretty good too.
That's why I still fell to you. Ding ding.
MWS Live on Woodward Sports.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. We're talking the challenges of drafting the franchise guy. Why do so many GMs whiff? And why do so many teams whiff? Jeff, is there a science to this? What is the X factor that is missing, and why do so many teams just miss on it? Why does a Mahomes go at 10? Why do some of these players fall to the first, second, third, fourth, even sixth round? Obviously, famously, Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the answer has a multitude of answers. You look at organizationally. Look at why did the Bears take Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes? You got to ask Ryan Pace. Why did the 49ers take Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers? This is just how sometimes it goes. You need a good organization. You need guys that are great minds in your draft department. And more importantly, I think people need to understand, like, great franchise quarterbacks obviously don't fall on trees because it takes a multitude of traits, not to mention it has a lot to do with the situation they're going to. Look at where these franchise quarterbacks are drafted, top 5. Usually. I mean, they fall late. You have Lamar Jackson at the end of the first round going to a great team, but those guys that are taken top 5 aren't going to the most ideal situation. I mean, you're going to a bad team, a team that had a top 5 pick. And a lot of those teams, you have the Jets, the Jaguars, now the Lions, who hopefully, now you got 2 of the 3 teams that are addressing that quarterback position. We don't even know if Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson are franchise quarterbacks because of where they were taken the first year. You like to say you've seen something out of both those guys, and maybe you have, but the second, third year, you'll start to see the progression. You really don't know if you have a franchise quarterback till the situation is ideal. Look at Jared Goff. He was a franchise quarterback, but what was around him? Sean McVay, a great team around him. Sometimes it's not all about the quarterback. You can have Jimmy G. I would like to think him as a franchise quarterback, considering where he got the 49ers. Now, Trey Lance is kind of elevated into that role. But look at Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. And then before them, you have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. What do all those guys have in common? We like to think of those guys as franchise quarterbacks, tremendously talented, but also great organizations, great teams. So a lot has to go into it. Having great players around them. Do you think Malik Willis has a better chance of being a franchise quarterback drafted, let's say to the Lions late in the first, or Pittsburgh? You know what I mean? It depends on situationally, but yeah, franchise quarterbacks, man, it's harder than people think. And maybe the Lions, you had an opportunity. You took Jeff Okudah. You could have had 2 franchise quarterbacks, but that's another conversation.
That's the point, though.
Yeah,
right?
Organizationally, so it's important.
Chuck brought up a good point. Remember when Peyton Manning it was the Manning and wasn't it Manning and Leaf?
Manning,
was it Manning and
Eli?
Couch?
You're talking about?
No.
Oh, then no.
Peyton came out with Ryan Leaf, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Ryan Leaf was the biggest.
That was
bust
the
of all time.
conversation.
Yeah.
I don't believe it was Couch. Having said that, Jeff, you already brought it up to an extent. Yes, I do believe where you go does matter. Having said that, there is something you can never measure, and it's we call it, right?
Yeah.
The it factor. Mm-hmm. Jeff, in today's NFL, all the quarterbacks can probably sling it 50, 60, 70 yards downfield. That is not an issue.
Yeah.
These guys have the size. They have the arm strength. They have the mobility. It doesn't ever matter. Why don't they work out? Why don't they work out? And I asked myself this question, obviously, all last night, trying to come up with an answer, and I just believe there is something, whether it is the look, the confidence, the it, you have to be able to identify the it. Because the it is the difference between Joe Burrow and Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and who's a more recent physical drafted specimen at quarterback. Hell, I could use even Drew Lock. I could use the kid from long ago that Denver drafted. I can't.
He's like 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah, I know what
Yep,
you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
I can't remember his name either, but regardless of the point, you have to, why they whiff so much is because of how valuable that position is. Everybody wants to get their hands on the guy, the quarterback. And that's why they're drafted so high. That's why they're drafted so often.
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch, thank you very much.
Another one, yeah.
Why do guys like that fail to succeed? Who have it all? Christian Hattenberg. Do you guys remember? Hackenberg out of Penn State.
Yeah.
The number 1 rated prospect, couldn't sniff the NFL. Had the size, had the mobility, had the arm strength. Does it matter? And yes, those are extremely important and valuable tools. But is it psychological tests that need to be run? What is it that can find or determine that it factor? And I think confidence has a lot to do with it, but we've seen players like Josh Rosen. Supreme confidence doesn't matter. So it's not a science, it's not an art, it's 95% research and really doing your due diligence, but the difference between getting it 100% right and just busting is that 5% that's the it factor, which I could argue is the most important factor of it all.
People thought
do these
Herbert
guys
didn't
have the work ethic?
Yep.
Do they have the mentality, the mindset, the ability to be coached extremely hard, take criticism, fail, get up, and repeat? We're going to find that out about Trevor Lawrence. Extremely talented, mobile, has the arm strength, has the looks.
Yeah.
Does he have it? Does he have it? And in today's NFL, guys, excuse me, whether you like it or not, we're seeing young quarterbacks come into the league and play right away. Don't believe me? Ask the Chargers. Ask the Bengals. Go ahead and ask. Ask around. It's pretty obvious when you have the guy. You can usually find out pretty early. And the others that you don't know go into year 2, year 3, typically don't work out, and some of them do, but the majority don't. Why do they always fail to deliver? And I really think this is more than just your scouting department and your front office, Jeff. It can't just be, we love his arm, we love his moxie, we love the way he commands the huddle. It's so different in the NFL.
It is.
Commanding the huddle of a bunch of college kids is different than commanding the huddle as a first-round pick with a bunch of veteran NFL players who are relying on you to be good so they can look good.
Baker Mayfield.
That's the difference between Burrow and Mayfield. Kirk Cousins. Like, these are decent quarterbacks, right? Good quarterbacks. Even Goff, good quarterback.
Just that it.
But Jimmy G has it. It. And you know what? I'm tired of the Jimmy G slander, to be honest with you. Because he plays in an offense that I could argue is one of the more difficult offenses to play in the NFL. Why? What is the easiest throw to make in the NFL? Or I should say the safest throw. Anything to the sideline. Why? You can dictate whether it's going to be uncatchable, catchable.
Right.
And to be honest, you rarely see mistakes happen on the sidelines. Where do all the mistakes in the NFL happen, Jeff? Over the middle. Why? 5 offensive linemen, 4 defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties. There are so many bodies in there. And that doesn't include the receivers that are running in with the corners trailing them. So many bodies, a mistimed throw, high, 2 out in front, behind, anything that can be tipped off the receiver is typically an interception, Jeff. That's what NFL teams practice for. And the Niners are fundamentally known for throwing the ball strictly over the middle. He's got a hard job. I don't want to hear that. He's not a good quarterback. But anyways. Easy. I don't care that you were 13. He did have it. He just had Jeff Fisher. I really thought Vince Young also had it, and I thought he showed it. They had winning seasons under him. He was a decent quarterback in the NFL. I'm not saying it was Mahomes, Allen, or anything like that, but you couldn't argue that he wasn't a good, competent quarterback. He had a winning record, and he carried a pathetic Titans team to winning seasons. No. I'm sorry. No one's going to slander Vince Young this morning because I'm extremely upset with Jeff Fisher for ruining that. He actually looked pretty decent.
Yeah. But what you're saying is, I guess,
you
that
can have the arm
transcendent.
talent. Yeah, you can have the arm talent. You can have the mobility. You can have the moxie, the confidence, the ability to understand what a defense is doing. At the end of the day, there is something, this little thing in your head that you cannot identify. It is why Aaron Rodgers only has 1 Super Bowl and Tom Brady has 7. And I could argue one of them is more talented physically.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. The other is supremely gifted mentally. You want to talk about supremely gifted quarterbacks mentally? Joe Burrow. Do you remember that famous picture of him at LSU on the ground? Defender standing over him? He didn't lose a single game after that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
He won a national title.
He has that, now that Kobe's anniversary was yesterday, that Mamba mentality.
And then he tears his ACL.
Yep.
Then what? Runs
right
it back,
back
wins the
stronger.
division, gets to the AFC title game. That you cannot explain. I don't
Getting
care.
sacked that much, too.
I don't care how good you are, how talented you are. There is something here that determines whether you're going to be a winner or a loser. Jeff Fisher is one of the worst humans I've ever came across. Look at Sean McVay. He walked in. Jared Goff was 0-7.
Revived him.
Turned Goff into a 13-3 quarterback 2 years later. Won the division the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, man.
That's why it does have a lot to do with the situation, but like you said, it's half and half. Like, you need the talent, you need the it, but...
I like this question, and then I'll go to break, because we do have Motor City Hoops joining the morning show in a little bit.
It's going to be great.
Adam, if you replace Tannehill with Goff, do the Titans win? No, they do not. They're the same quarterback.
Yeah.
Limited. They just are. They're limited. They're not going to take you over the hump. You don't believe me? Goff threw 1 touchdown on the way to that Super Bowl run. 3 points in the Super Bowl. Please, just open your ears up a little bit. Yeah, look, he was way better than Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell is a thief. He's a fat ass. And he's the laziest scum of human I've ever met in my life. Pathetic. Pathetic. And also, thank you, I believe Oakland at the time. Yeah, I keep having to mix this up now. We have to go back in history. Thank you, Oakland, for letting Calvin Johnson fall to us. We really do appreciate that. We really do. We got to go to break. When we get back, Coach Simon from Motor City Hoops joins us this morning. But before we go, Jeff, could you tell everybody at home about Guardian Alarm?
Yes, I can. We talk about defenses, and listen, defenses are important to young quarterbacks, but they're also important to the average individual. Guardian Alarm gets it. Whether for home or business, a good defense helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home or business, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock doors. Call 800 Stay out today. That's 800 Stay Out. And don't forget, let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer.
We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We cannot thank you enough for joining us this morning. And speaking of somebody, a very special someone joining us this morning.
Me?
Shut up, Fish. Coach Simon from Motor City Hoops joins us this morning. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm good, guys, man. How are you guys doing this morning? I'm really happy to join you, and I'm excited to talk Pistons.
I'm
We're
happy you're here.
extremely excited to
Yeah.
have you. The feeling is mutual. I'll let Jeff start. Jeff, go ahead.
Well, first, I want to just make sure everyone knows we're talking to our guy, Coach Bryce Simon, host of the Motor City Hoops podcast. I appreciate you being here, number one. And number two, I want to ask you, start off with, we'll go Dwayne Casey, because I know we're going to get into the Cade Cunningham discussions. And now that we have you on, finally, I want to ask your personal evaluation of Dwayne Casey, maybe the last couple years, and kind of your take on Dwayne since we finally got you on here.
Yeah, so, I don't want to say I'm a Dwayne Casey defender, but I feel like I've kind of gotten that rep. And The reason is like the roster's not very talented, and I think we're quick to judge things. There's been some decisions. So like the Hamidou Diallo thing, right? He gets set earlier in the season, I think rightfully so, and then he bounces back after setting 5 games and looks really good, and people are like, well, why was he setting early in the year? Like, he wasn't playing well. It was the right decision to play. And listen, guys, I'm a huge Hamidou Diallo fan. Like, I wanted to pay him this offseason. You guys would be firing me as GM if I would have offered him a contract. So, like, I just think I try to see both sides of things. I'm not saying everything he does is correct. I'm not saying I agree with everything. But as a coach, I guess maybe I'm a little bit biased. And so I do try to see things from his side of it.
Respect that. All right, you want to get your Cade Cunningham question?
I do have a question for you, Coach, about Cade. Look, there's this mantra, Detroit versus everybody.
Yes, there is.
All right? And look, he dropped 38 last night. Believe me, I was all about it. Amazing performance. Loved it. They were doubling and triple teaming him. The only reason the Pistons really had a chance in that game. But I'm not even upset that national media doesn't even give this guy attention. 1, he plays in Detroit. They're 11-36. 2, LaMelo Ball got the attention he got last year because, I don't know, he's LaMelo Ball. And I've known him since he was 13, unfortunately. Like, this, I don't mind Cade going under the radar. Like, yes, that has always been the moxie and the talk of this town is underrated star players in Detroit. What do you make of this narrative that Cade, 1, isn't getting enough attention nationally, and 2, just this Detroit versus everybody mantra?
Yeah, I mean, it's right. He's not getting enough attention nationally, but let him sleep. I don't care. I wrote an article for Detroit Bad Boys that just dropped yesterday, and in it I said, I don't care if Cade Cunningham wins Rookie of the Year. He's the best rookie. He's a Detroit Piston. He's our face of the franchise, and that's all that matters, and that's all we should be excited about. I don't care if he wins Rookie of the Year. Like, I just don't get lost in that stuff. We got the best player in the draft. The Pistons got the best player in the draft. He has the most intangibles of anybody in the draft. He's a leader of men as a 19-year-old. He's mature beyond his years already. He has embraced the city. And guess what, guys? He can freaking ball. So at the end of the day, I don't care what the rest of the country or whatever, if they want to talk about him, let him sleep. Let him sleep, and whenever the Pistons are winning playoff games, we'll tell him to stay off the bandwagon.
And I want to stay on Cade Cunningham because now I'm going to get a little personal with you. Now I'm going to address your personal evaluation of Cade, and I want you to answer what separates him, because we talk about franchise player. That's obviously Cade. What separates guys like Cade Cunningham from maybe, I don't know, specifically Jalen Green? Like, what's the difference between those two selections?
Absolutely. So Jalen Green is, I don't want to say he's all show. It's style, right?
Yeah.
My college coach had a great quote. Like, he would tell guys in a negative way, you're all style over substance. You're all about how you look. And I'm not saying Jalen Green does that on purpose. All I'm saying is you get lost in the athleticism, in the tough shots he makes, those type of things. Go look at his stats. How many rebounds does he get? How many assists does he get? What's he doing on the defensive end? I went to Summer League. I never heard him say a word on the defensive end. And I know these aren't sexy things for fans, but Cade Cunningham is always talking on the defensive end. I saw it in Game 1 of Summer League for him and the Pistons. So it's all those things on the court, and then it's off the court. You see him talking to Killian Hayes. You see him being a leader. You see him saying the right things in the media. Like, he showed the most frustration after that game on Tuesday night whenever asked about getting to the free throw line and not getting respect from the officials. Like, that was the first time he kind of didn't give the politically correct answer. So it's the entire package from Cade Cunningham.
Absolutely.
Great,
Look, I do want to shift to 2 things real quick. First, Diallo. I totally agree with you, by the way. I think he's a future piece. What his ceiling is, to be honest, I still don't know yet. He has flashes where you're like, oh my goodness, this guy's unplayable. And then there's nights where it's like, no, I should not play him. So extremely frustrating, but he is young, so I'm not even really too upset with it. But the player I do want to focus on more so is Killian Hayes. He's been putting together some really good games lately. I'm of the mindset, you know what? Yes, he was the number 7 pick. But the dude can lock down players, and maybe not yet, but I think his ceiling is he's a lockdown perimeter defender. That has value on a championship team, and that may be 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now. Where are you with Killian Hayes?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I probably get pegged as a Killian defender, and it's not that I'm like trying to just outwardly protect him as much as just seeing the things he does bring to the table, and you outlined them perfectly. I think what we need Killian to be, what the Pistons need Killian to be, his archetype of player. And I'm not saying he's great in it yet. He's not. But I think that fits perfect next to Cade. I think we saw in the Kings game when Killian set out and Cade had to try to guard De'Aaron Fox, he ended up in foul trouble. You need Killian Hayes or a player like that to defend the other team's best perimeter player. And then where Killian has to get really good is in catch and shoot situations. He's gotten better. He has to continue to get better. What I'd like to see more from him, guys, and this is where I would critique Coach Casey, let Killian run the second unit when you stagger minutes. He can start, but then stagger his minutes, let him run the second unit and do some of that pick and roll stuff that he was supposed to be good at. That was his rep coming into the draft.
And I want to ask you, obviously the Pistons 11-36, not ideal, but specifically Isaiah Stewart. And we love beef stew, of course, but we always have this discussion. Obviously, he's 6'8", 6'9", he's playing center out there. He's playing his ass off. But more specifically, what is Isaiah Stewart's ceiling to you? Do you see him as a starting big or someone who comes off the bench like a Montrezl Harrell in the future? What is his ceiling to you?
Yeah, man, I hope this one doesn't stop me from getting invited back, but because I'm a huge beef stew fan also. But I think he's the first big off the bench. Like unless you see him bring something offensively, whether it's as, stretching the floor as a pick and pop, as a short roll guy, I don't think the lob is going to be there. Like he just doesn't have that pop and explosiveness. I don't know NBA trainers. Obviously, they know way more than anything I've ever been around. Maybe they can increase that with him, but his hands don't look great. He's a hard worker. He rebounds. I love his switchability on the defensive end. That's a huge value. But I do think when this team is good, really competing, he's probably your first big guy off the bench.
Yeah, actually, I completely agree with you. Listen, I love beef stew, and Pistons fans don't like to hear it when you say things like that, but it's the truth. And it's nothing wrong with that. You can still be a great player coming off the bench providing energy for us. No doubt about that. You got a question? Because I'll follow it up with something.
No, follow it up. I'm loving this.
Now that we're sticking on, we're going to talk about the Pistons the whole season. We went through individual players. You got Dwayne Casey. I mentioned it before, 11-36. You've been watching damn near every game of the Pistons this year. You've done a ton of recaps. They could check it out. Motor City Hoops podcast. It's great. And I want you to kind of run down the season. What are some things you've seen of the team, maybe the first 15 now, lately, and what have they gotten better at? What are some things they need to do in the offseason to you personally?
Yeah, so obviously the season started, they were a historically bad offensive team, and Cade wasn't playing to start the season, but they just weren't making shots, like literally historically bad from three-point. And I looked right before I came on, and the shooting, it's still one of the worst in the league this season, but it's not like historically bad. Like eventually it was going to come around. The other thing is Jeremy Grant hasn't played very many games. He's your highest paid player. Kelly Olynyk hasn't played very many games. He's your second highest paid player. And Blake Griffin plays for the Nets, and he's actually your highest paid player. You paid him to go away. So you don't have a whole lot of money invested in these guys that are actually playing. The shooting and the offense has gotten better, but while at the same time the defense has gotten worse, which has been a little bit frustrating for me as like a defensive-minded coach in what I do. Looking forward, I think they need a rim-running, rim-protecting five-man, and I think they need a big-time scoring wing, like a guy that can really get buckets. Because, yes, Cade can go get 34, but I don't think that's his nature, guys. I think he would rather kind of be the number 2 option scoring-wise, get everybody else involved, and then take over in the last 5 minutes.
We can't let you get out of here without addressing this Jeremy Grant news, all this stuff getting talked about with Jeremy Grant. And now you saw the reports about him not wanting to go to the Lakers and all this stuff, but he's still on the trade block. So I want to get your opinion on maybe, I know you heard the John Collins stuff. It's all over the place. So maybe what's your ideal Jeremy Grant trade scenario? Is it for a very good player and a pick, draft capital strictly? Like what would be a good deal for Troy Weaver to get done with Jeremy Grant?
Absolutely. So I think the deal that makes the most sense, and I don't want to say I'm Pistons specific, but I watch every second of every Pistons game. And that doesn't leave a lot of time to watch the rest of the NBA. So I don't know how good some of these guys are. I'm a little more of a box score watcher, but like Patrick Williams of the Bulls is kind of the ideal kind of realm of what I would like to see in return. Somebody younger, but is still going to be a starter for this team. This team has plenty of guys that can come off the bench in the second unit. We talked about Isaiah Stewart, could be Killian Hayes. I think that's where Hamidou Diallo's best fit is. So I would like to get them a younger guy, but who definitely has the potential to be a starter in this league moving forward. I'm not as much on the draft capital thing, but I think that's because for me, picking Cade Cunningham has sped up the process for the restoration, and it needs to happen a little quicker.
I will say, look, I've been on the trade Jeremy Grant even before the season started train, and I got a lot of pushback early on. I don't mind that people are on it now. I have no issue with it, but my problem with Jeremy Grant is this dude actually comes out and the reports are, yeah, he doesn't want to play second or third fiddle to LeBron. Like, this guy's ego is insane. And you could tell early on when he was playing with Kate on the court, he was jealous of Kate. I mean, I tweeted it out, and it's just my personal observation. The dude is jealous. He doesn't want to be the number 2. And honestly, Coach, I think he's a number 3 on a good team. What the hell is this market? Can't we just get rid of him already? I'm tired. I'm tired of this guy.
I agree with you. I do think he came to Detroit to be the guy in the face, and that completely changed when they drafted Cade Cunningham. If they had drafted Jalen Green, I think this may be different, because even though Jalen Green may be taking more shots, he's not the face of the Pistons, just like he's not the face of I don't think he's the face of the Rockets. I could be wrong there. But it's going to be interesting. I think it makes it a little bit problematic, guys, where Jeremy Grant goes, because there's 2 factors. The one you just brought up about what option he's willing to be on a team, and also he's going to want to get, in my opinion, that 4-year, $118 million extension that's coming up. Mm-hmm. And are you willing to pay Jeremy Grant that to be your number 3 or maybe even your number 4?
I'd rather die.
The options may be more limited than what they initially looked like.
Yeah, look, honestly, I'm not surprised by it. Mm-hmm. I believe he has, 2 years left on his deal?
Yes. Yep. It's a great deal right now.
It's a good deal now. It's going to be a horrible deal, whoever the hell decides to take him. And the Pistons should not even consider signing him or keeping him. He's not that guy.
No.
He's not that guy.
Especially with the emergence of Bay.
I'd rather have Darko than Jeremy Grant at this point.
Don't
Jesus
go that far.
Christ.
Don't go that far.
Okay, maybe I'm a bit dramatic, but you guys get my point this morning. Well, listen, Coach, honestly, can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. That was so fun. Would love to have you on again anytime soon. Especially throughout the Pistons season. You just shoot Jeff or myself a message and you're on, man.
No doubt.
We really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
No, I had a blast, guys. I can do this anytime. Jeff and I were talking. I can get this in. I'm on Central Time Zone out here in Kansas, so I can get this in with you guys and then go and teach my middle school science classes. So it worked out perfect.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man, and go enjoy that Chiefs, hopefully, victory this weekend. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Root for me, because I might burn down the studio if the Rams beat the Niners on Sunday. So.
Wait, no. you're not cheering for Stafford? You're not cheering for Stafford?
In a good way. Burn it down in a good way.
Burn it down in a good way.
Celebratory fashion.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
I don't even want to hint at what I'm going to do.
Hint
People
for Monday.
are not ready
it's going to be, no one's ready
for
Monday.
You thought I was awful on Monday? You're not ready for me on this upcoming Monday.
Oh, God, wait for Monday. It's going to be hell.
Coach, thanks so much. We got to go to break. When we get back, from zero to hero, which team in the NFL that finished 4th can make that leap? And I think you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. Wear Honolulu blue. Aaron Rodgers may not be a Packer next season, even though I think he will be. But that's irrelevant to the point now. The Bears and the Vikings clearly taking new steps in their organization with new GMs and head coaches. Here we go. But before we go, I got to tell you about Gypsy Vodka. And let me tell you, Gypsy is the smoothest tasting vodka on the market. Gypsy is provided and made locally in Petoskey, Michigan, guys. Support our local family here in Michigan. Try it and ask for it by the name of Gypsy. I promise you, you will not regret it. Definitely a smooth taste. Again, ask for it by the name of Gypsy. And as always, drink responsibly.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Whether you're tuning in live or you are listening in via podcast, you can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. We are everywhere you can find podcasts, regardless of the point. 0 to hero. Jeff,
yep.
Which teams around the league are ready to take that next step, whether even just third or fourth place? Which teams can make that leap? And I think you know where I'm going with this.
Well, if to answer the question, when I first read the question, what teams have a chance to turn it around, I was looking at the bottom feeders. I was looking at Jacksonville, Lions, and Jets. And I was going to evaluate those three teams and kind of their chances of even doing anything next year. Not that they're going to win close to 10 games, but turning it around, meaning from first of the draft to maybe middle of the pack in the draft. You want to turn that around. So we'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, in my opinion, hit a home run by hopefully hiring Byron Leftwich, someone that I've been really high on. They are going to have Travis Etienne back healthy next year. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, in his second year. They have pieces on defense, of course, a couple good wide receivers, and they're going to have, probably Evan Neal, I would assume. I know Aiden Hutchinson, we have a lot of people have him going to the Jags, but assuming it'll be a left or right tackle, I wouldn't doubt. I would bet all my money they win way more games than they do this year. I mean, Urban Meyer and that disaster, they sniff out with a couple wins, 3 wins. No doubt in my mind, if they add more playmakers, they can at least be somewhere in the 10 to 15 range. So the Jaguars, I think with Byron, he's going to do wonders for that franchise. So we'll move to the Lions because that's, personal favorite. I'm wearing the Lions hoodie. You see it. All right, for the Lions, I think we saw last year they started to build towards something towards the end of the year. And positive things. They beat the Packers. Obviously, no starters, but they destroyed the Arizona Cardinals. That's what you could take. Now, does it translate to next season? No. But they have plenty of draft capital, 5 picks, I believe, in the first 100 selections. If the Lions are able to add more playmakers, talking about linebackers, they added Kayvon Thibodeau, a wide receiver, maybe a Drake London, Chris Olave. They have a real chance. And we talk about it. We'll get into all that about the Lions and the expectations for next year another time. But the Lions, to me, have a chance to easily win 6-7 games. It should be in that ballpark, because if not, that's what they're expected of Dan Campbell, of course. 6 to 7 wins. Now, with the Jets, that's probably the one that, that's going to depend mainly on Zach Wilson's development in his second year, but they have so much draft capital. So they have a real chance at a bunch of young, talented rookies. And Robert Saleh, we assume, Robert, good defensive mind. They have a great offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, so no doubt they can win some games. But if we're talking teams that are bad that can turn it around, honestly, I like the Miami Dolphins depending on who they hire. If they get a home run and head coach, that's a great roster.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm all out on the Dolphins. Dolphins will win 3 football games next year. Book it from now. I'm not joking.
Well, depending on who they hire. If they
I
get
don't
a good
care
head
who
coach,
they hire. They can hire Jesus himself.
No, I don't agree
You
with
don't
that.
fire a guy like Brian Flores.
I don't think
and follow it up with a better head coach. Who are they going to get? Kellen Moore? No. Dan
I don't know who they'd get. That'd have to be a home run for them.
That's the same coach.
Yeah,
Then
essentially.
what?
But who's yours? I mean, it's not really a lot. You're talking about bottom feeders.
Out of all the teams that okay, look, there are a few teams here that are outliers that it's not even fair for me to bring up.
Yeah.
Seattle and Baltimore. Stacked rosters, franchise quarterbacks, tough divisions. So I'm not even going to entertain Baltimore and Seattle, please, for the sake of conversation. Having said that, the Detroit Lions are at the top of my list, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Even if Aaron Rodgers does come back, do I expect the Detroit Lions to be better than the Chicago Bears this season? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Do I expect the Detroit Lions to be better than the Minnesota Vikings this year? I cannot give you that answer yet. I don't know who their head coach is.
Yeah.
They could make a splash head coach signing. Totally catch me by surprise. And let's be real. If we're talking which roster you would take tomorrow, it's a damn good toss-up between Minnesota, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. Watch out. Yes, Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. Yes, they need to technically enter a rebuild, but I wouldn't even call it a rebuild. I would call it a retooling with an idea that in the next 2 to 3 years, Minnesota has drafted their franchise quarterback. That's their plan. It has to be. Kirk Cousins definitely not the guy. So yes, I do think the Lions can get at least up to the second place spot in the division this year. They finished 4th, 7 straight years now?
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to make a run for number 2. Now, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, that really opens up the whole floodgate. It opens up the whole thing. And Funky, I do know the Broncos did hire Hackett from Green Bay, but to be honest with you, that's not the move, man. Rodgers not going to a division with Justin Herbert. He's not going to a division with Patrick Mahomes. If Rodgers is playing football next year, it is in a Green Bay Packers uniform, where 3 teams are in the middle of a rebuild. With a coach he's won 39 games with in the last 3 regular seasons. Come on. Look, I get it. Look, from a Lions fan perspective, I get the hopefulness. Hackett to Denver. Denver was one of the reported spots. Denver has to trade for Aaron. They don't even get to sign him. If Stafford went for 2 first-round picks, what the hell you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go for? And to be honest, hindsight 2020, the Rams would have had to given up 4 first-round picks to get Stafford. Had they known. Or had the Lions known that was the level of production they were going to get. So yes, I think the Lions minimum make a run for second place. Now, first place, there's so many variables that go involved into it. There really is. Would Denver do it? Denver would have to give up all those picks, a nice defensive player, and maybe an offensive piece. What do you think, franchise quarterbacks are just easy to grab? The Rams made it look easy. It's not. How often do they become available on the market in a trade that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg?
And that's probably might be why John Elway
and Denver
might be willing to do it.
Are you ready to win a Super Bowl? Are you?
I mean,
Cortland, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't even trust Adam Lazard, who I think is a decent wide receiver, I'm not saying he's amazing. I think he's decent. If he doesn't even trust Adam Lazard, you want him to go in and trust Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant?
Well,
I like that core. Adams.
I like that core, though.
I don't.
I'm going to stand by it. Listen,
they're not winning that division even with Aaron Rodgers.
They got minimal out of their wide receivers, and they still almost had all of them almost had 1,000. I mean, Judy was injured, but Noah Fant, I mean, he's a stud. But I think John Elway would go all in. I absolutely think so because they haven't had a quarterback.
I'm sure he would, but the Denver team Peyton Manning walked in
was way different.
It's totally. It was totally better.
That team. Yeah,
there's no
better.
Demaryius Thomas on this team.
No.
There's no Wes Walker. That defense with Von Miller. They got rid of Von Miller, who was lighting up the postseason right now. Come on. The Packers are not ready for a Super Bowl. Are they close? Absolutely. But they would fall so far behind giving up the capital they would have to give up to acquire somebody like Aaron Rodgers. No? Having said that, oh, man. Jeff, the Detroit Lions. I want to live in a hypothetical world for the next 6-7 minutes, if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. Aaron Rodgers retires. All right? He retires. He walks away. He doesn't play next year. I will not sit up here and be flabbergasted or taken aback by Detroit Lions, not only fans, but, general big supporters that are typically more optimistic than most, telling me that they can win 10 games and the division next year. That wouldn't surprise me. Would it?
No, it wouldn't surprise me.
Jared Goff, in my opinion, if Rodgers left, would be the best quarterback in the division. Now, do I think Kirk Cousins is? I think they're the same. I think they're good quarterbacks. They're not elite. They're not great. They're just good quarterbacks. They can win you games. They can lose you games. They're not in that special tier of quarterbacks, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So I could make the argument Minnesota and Detroit, they're probably the front runners. I don't know what I'm getting out of Jordan Love. And you don't know what the Packers are going to do in the offseason at the quarterback position, if that's the truth.
And you're banking on Justin Fields in his second year, so you get a lot of question marks there.
A lot of question marks. I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
And I think out of all these teams, Detroit makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
They've got the offensive line. They've got the formula. You saw it against Arizona. Now, if they come out and they play a totally different style of football, I will rip my hair out. But you saw the formula against Arizona. Run the damn football, deception, play action, underneath routes. Amon-Ra St. Brown basically looked like Deebo Samuel towards the end of the season. You've got something. A healthy TJ Hawkinson, a healthy DeAndre Swift. There is something there that can push for 8, 9, 10 wins. I have no doubts about it. This past season, hell yeah, I had doubts about it. Year 2, I always tell you guys, year 1, okay, rebuild, get your identity in. Year 2, win. Year 3, win. Compete. Now, am I going to freak out if Dan Campbell goes 6-11, 7-10? No.
That's what I'm expecting right there.
No, that would be enough for me to give him year 3.
Yeah.
But year 3 would have to be 10, 11 wins.
Can't go
Compete,
7 wins again.
Fight for the wild card. Fight for the division. Especially if Aaron Rodgers is gone. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Your thoughts if Aaron Rodgers leaves?
I agree, and I know me and Fish had this discussion yesterday when people think if Aaron Rodgers leaves, the Lions are in the driver's seat. They should, and listen, I don't agree with that, but I think the division's wide open enough to where the Lions, realistically, I'm not going to bank money on Jordan Love beating Jared Goff twice a year, or even Justin Fields. I mean, we don't know what the Bears are going into a rebuild. We don't know who they're going to get a head coach. Could be Jim Caldwell, but Kirk Cousins, I mean, give or take with Jared Goff. So with Jared Goff, more talent around him, maybe another wide receiver you draft, a superior edge rusher. Brad Holmes is going to have, again, 5 picks in the top 100. I like the Lions, number 1. And I went through the Jags, the Jets, and the Lions. If I had to rank them, it would probably be Lions, Jags, Jets. That's probably my top. Or maybe Lions, Jets, Jags. That's probably my top 3. So Lions, to me, draft capital. Who's taking those draft picks? Brad Holmes. I trust him. And, yeah, I don't think you're crazy at all.
I'm sorry. Zeke, I totally disagree. You must surround Jared Goff with more offensive talent to choose. I know who he is.
You've seen who he is.
He's in year 7, man.
You've seen who he is.
We're in year 7 now. I know what he is and what he isn't. He's a good quarterback, middle of the pack. He's nothing special. He's not elite. He will not overcome your franchise's deficiencies, whether he's with Detroit or anywhere else. It doesn't matter.
No, he's not 24 years old.
13-3 was his highlight career year. 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 4,700 yards. Not bad, right? Behind one of the greatest offenses we've seen in recent time. Great, cool, great offensive line. Prime Todd Gurley, who I could make the argument was the MVP that year. And then he follows that up with a 9-7 year, 9-6 year, now 3-10-1. And that was with the number 1 and number 7 ranked defense that carried them along both years.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't throw more than 22 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons, and last year threw 19 with the Detroit Lions. I know what Jared Goff is. I don't need to evaluate him. He's not a franchise quarterback.
No.
Do you think he's a franchise guy? Is he Joe Burrow? Is he Matthew Stafford? Is he Kyler Murray?
And it's
Russell Wilson? No, the hell he's not, and he doesn't have that ceiling anymore. Mm-hmm. We thought he did when he was 13-3 with the Rams, and they gave him a contract extension. We thought that was his ceiling, and then he regressed. He's not that guy.
And this isn't a Stafford situation where his previous destination didn't give him enough help or whatever. Now you can evaluate him like Stafford in L.A. No, it's the opposite. He had all the help with the Los Angeles Rams. You know what he is, and that's the difference. So
yeah, like what more do you want? You saw it all in Los Angeles.
Great
he
defense.
had an abundance of weapons. A prime Brandon Cooks, prime Gurley, prime receivers. And I wouldn't say prime McVay, but it was early enough in McVay's stages, in the early stages where teams really hadn't figured out how to game plan for him.
Yep.
Come on, guys. Come on. Jared Goff is better than Tannehill. I don't care.
I think
they're both the same. They're good.
I like Tannehill's
mobility. They can
mobility.
win you football games. That's nice. That's nice. They can win you football games if you overcompensate. If you overcompensate. Why did the Tennessee Titans win the amount of games they won this year? Coaching and defense. Coaching and defense, in spite of quarterback play.
Yeah. Well, they still won the division without Derrick Henry the last 8 games. So
last season, the Rams won 9 games in spite of their quarterback play. Why? The number 1 scoring defense in the NFL.
And they didn't have nobody hurt.
And nobody was hurt.
It's not like the Titans this year.
Come on. You guys are a joke.
I want to see what the Lions do at offensive coordinator,
Tannehill's not a top 10 quarterback. I don't know why you guys are saying this.
If the Lions keep Ben Johnson as OC, Lions offense takes a step forward. Goff was uncomfortable in the Campbell and Johnson.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Ben Johnson,
Goff looked good at the end. I don't mind that. You guys need to understand Goff is good. You can be good in the NFL. He's not great. He's not. That is a fact. Move on. Accept it. He had his opportunity. He didn't take it. Well, he got him to a Super Bowl, Adam. You tell me how confident you are of getting to a Super Bowl when your quarterback only throws 1 touchdown pass along the way. And then tell me he's a good to great quarterback. He's not.
And again, it's not always about the touchdown passes because Jimmy G didn't throw a lot of touchdown passes, but it's what did he do in those games? Like, watch the playoff film, man. It was more than just, it wasn't Goff carrying them over.
Cousins, Tannehill, Baker. What the hell do you want? We can all agree they're decent quarterbacks. They're nothing special. Move on. We got to go to break. When we get back, should the Detroit Lions pursue Michael Thomas? Boy, have I been waiting for this. I'm excited for this one, Jeff. But before we go, I got to tell you about MyBookie, the only place to be making sports bets this weekend. The AFC and NFC championship game are upon us. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Sign up today using code Woodward. They'll match you dollar for dollar. You put in $100, they'll match you $100. You put in $200, they'll match you with $200. You have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117. We'll see you right after the break.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
YouTube, Woodward Sports is there. Facebook, Woodward Sports is there. IG, TikTok, Spotify, Google Play, app, radio. Woodward Sports is everywhere. Make sure you follow, like, download, and listen anywhere.
All right, should the Detroit Lions pursue Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas, age 29, for the next 3 years? No guaranteed money, by the way. But $15 million on the cap for the next 3 years in salary. I believe it elevates from 15 to 9 to 7 in terms of how it equates over time, in terms of cap hit. Having said that, he is 29 years old. He has a few years left.
Hasn't played since 2020.
He is a good solution, but what do you have to give up to get him is my question.
Yeah.
Is it a Randy Moss deal? Sure, I'll take him. But, again, you have 2 first-round picks and an early second-rounder. You're going to be able to select a wide receiver, and if we've seen anything over the last few years, the wide receiver position has become more important than ever. Fair or not? And here we are. Look at the AFC title game if you don't believe me. Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham, Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill. I guess you want to include Travis Kelce. That's fine, but the point is, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You need wide receivers in today's NFL. Corners can't guard them. Safeties can't guard them. You need wide receivers. Now, what do I have to give up to get Michael Thomas? If you tell me anything near a second and third round, I'm probably going to say, no, I'll pass. I'm not interested. But a 5th, 4th, 6th round pick? Hell yeah. The Saints are going to want to save cap space. They're in cap trouble. He's one of the players that could move. Now, what team is willing to accept a guy with 3 years remaining on his deal with a $15 million salary at wide receiver, who I think is still can be very productive in the NFL? But do the Lions go for him? I don't think they do. Now, given his value, what do you get for him, Jeff? What do you have to give up to get him? If you're telling me I'm giving up late picks and a future late pick, oh, hell yeah, I'm doing it. Are you kidding me? I get Michael Thomas, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and TJ Hawkinson going into next year. I don't have to spend a first-round pick or a second-round pick on a wide receiver. And I can probably take one in the 3rd round if I'm that desperate. Hell, even the 4th. It's a deep class. I can go all in on defense in the draft. I kind of don't mind it. I really don't mind it. The one problem I do have is a fit for Michael Thomas. He is a guy that plays essentially in the slot. So does Amon-Ra St. Brown. He lines up in different positions.
Yep.
Is he a true outside, take the sideline away, make them cover you deep downfield? No. He's a slant guy.
Yeah, move the chains.
5 and in, 5 and out, move the chains, which is not a problem.
No.
But you do want, that's why Drake London is so popular with many Lions fans this year in terms of NFL mock drafts. Drake London has the size, has the speed, ability to get downfield. So look, if you asked me a straight up yes or no question, should the Lions pursue Michael Thomas? Yes. They should. Given that they can get him, I would argue, at a bargain. And if you can get Michael Thomas on a bargain deal, you do it. You have the cap space available for next year. You can cut him at any point without any real cap hit. That is a fair deal to me. If you tell me I have to give up a 4th and a 6th, a 4th and a 5th, oh, hell yeah, I do it. Hell yeah, I do it. No, you can call him slant boy. You can call him whatever you want. But I want a guy that can move the chains for me. And which team had the worst third down conversion rate in the NFL this year? The Detroit Lions. Come on. You're not going to pass on Michael Thomas. Now, is it ideal to take on a guy $15 million in salary, have to give up a 2nd-round pick? I'm not interested in giving up any high picks for this guy. I am not interested. I'd rather re-sign Josh Reynolds and draft Drake London. That would be my preference. But you can't ignore that the New Orleans Saints are going to want to trade him. They are going to want to relieve their cap just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it.
I do mind it.
And you're going to dump Trey Flowers. Post June 1st, Trey Flowers will be cut. You will re-sign Tracy Walker. Mm-hmm. And you could make a move for Michael Thomas. I really, it's not like this insane theory where, oh my goodness, they can't afford it. Look, they have the capital. Do it. Do I want to give up a 2nd-round pick, 3rd-round pick? No, I don't.
No.
So I'm going to back off if that's the case. If that's what New Orleans is asking for, I'm a hard pass.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me I only have to give up a 4th and next year's 5th or 6th, oh, God, put me in that market. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Jeff?
Before I answer this and go into detail, I want to, give credit to Michael Thomas because since entering the league, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 2019 AP Offensive Player of the Year. But this is the fact. Since 2020, he started in 5 games, and including in those 5 games, was suspended 1 game for punching his teammate in practice. And I get all that. I mean, I'm not going to go into the diva thing. It's not a big deal. But the thing that turns me off from Michael Thomas is that 5-year contract extension he signed for $100 million. And I know it's discounted. He gets to the Lions, it's about $15 million. But even for that, I'm trying to look at the risk versus the reward.
It depends what you give up.
And that's the big thing. It depends what you give up. But let's say, just from looking at it straight up, would you trade for Michael Thomas? Again, depends on what you give up. But in my opinion, I stay away from him. Just because, to make it a long story short, I want no part, number one, in the $15 million. I get it's discounted. But Michael Thomas, I haven't seen him play in quite a long time. He's had, every year he started in this league, he's had over 1,000 yards. He's productive. I get all that. But the Lions, in the direction they're moving in right now, you have a chance to take a receiver in the 1st round. And you have guys getting better. We don't even know what Quintez Cephas' ceiling is. You have Amon-Ra, who just broke for almost 1,000 yards. I would stay away from him, but no doubt in my mind he'd come to this team and immediately help them in the pass game. I mean, if you're an idiot if you think anything different. But the fit is important. And is he a Dan Campbell guy? I don't know. And is he going to fit in this culture? I don't know. But Michael Thomas, damn good wide receiver. But he's the reception king, and you can't forget that. Reception king. But the reality is we don't have a Drew Brees here. We have Jared Goff. Would that work? I don't know.
Again, I think Jared Goff is fine. I think
He's
that would
fine.
work. I really do think it would work. Again, what do I have to give up? And in 2022, right now, no moves made. The Lions only have $23 million in cap space. But again, if I cut Trey Flowers, which I expect them to do, my cap space jumps up to $39 million. Am I willing to take a chance on Michael Thomas for a 4th and a 6th? Absolutely. He's 29 years old. I don't have to re-sign him. I can cut him at any point. It's worth the risk.
And I'm so glad Ryan brought this up. I am so glad he brought this up. He, obviously, we talked about the targets. When Michael Thomas played a whole season, he had almost 200 targets. All right, and that's not a big deal. You're a number 1 wide receiver. You deserve targets. I don't like, especially with the Lions are right now, they're probably going to draft a wide receiver or acquire a wide receiver somehow. Michael Thomas is going to ask for a lot of targets. And whatever offense you run, if you're a run-first offense, whatever it is, I just don't like that in terms of the growing of other guys. Amon-Ra, Quintez.
I don't think so. I think that's wrong, and I'll tell you why. And I'm trying to pull up Tyreek Hill just off the top of my head. Tyreek Hill this season, 159 targets.
Yeah.
Okay? 159. Yeah. The season where Michael Thomas broke the NFL record for receptions, it was 185. Mm-hmm. The Saints were 13-3. The year prior, 147 targets. The year prior, 149. The year prior, 121.
Yeah, he got better.
Like he's getting a consistent volume. I don't need 185 targets at Michael. You give me 147 targets for Michael Thomas, he's going to catch the ball at a rate of 80 to 85%. And I'm going to get 1,400 yards and maybe double-digit touchdowns.
No,
that's production.
No, production, yes.
You can't take the highest You can't take the extreme and the lowest part of the scale. You have to go into the median. Never use the extreme and the lowest point as your argument. I'll always defend that, because what am I getting consistently out of Michael Thomas? 140 targets.
Yeah.
I'm getting about 1,400 yards.
You're paying him close to $20 million.
15, not 20. 15 million
and he
on the spot.
Hasn't played in 2 years. But
What do you mean? He hasn't played just this year.
He played 5 games last year.
Yes.
So we'll say 2. I mean,
a year and a half, fine.
But still, like, what are we getting out of Michael Thomas?
You're getting a 29-year-old wide receiver
okay.
if I argued a 4th and a 6th round pick.
Oh, then yes.
You would do. That's my point. I'm not giving up a 1st, a 2nd, or a 3rd.
Then that conversation, I don't think 4th and a 6th is even.
Are you
sure? The Saints? I do.
When you want to dump salary, you take anything. Are people, again, Jeff, you just made the point. If you're a GM and I tell you I'm the New Orleans Saints, hey, I'm willing to give you Michael Thomas. Just give me a 4th and a 6th. You would do it, right? If I told you give me a 2nd and a 3rd, you would look at me and say he hasn't played in a year and a half. Why the hell would I give that up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's my point. I think he's a bargain deal this offseason. I do.
And in that case, then I guess my only argument would be indictment on the salary cap. But if he's a great player, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Again, if he's a great player, if he's the same Michael Thomas,
even if he's $15 million on the cap, if I told you get an all-pro wide receiver,
then
for 2 picks, you could care less about.
It's just too much question marks for me. That's all.
Fair. In terms of injury, totally fair.
Yeah.
That's the risk, and it's low risk because you're only giving up 2 late picks.
Then
see where I'm going with this?
I do.
And if you cut him, you're only eating what, $4-6 million for 1 season? It's nothing after that. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal. Come on. All right, we got to go to break. When we get back, that was fun.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
A lot of Lions fans.
I like that.
They're drawn in the middle.
I really liked it. I didn't hear anybody bring up Michael Thomas after the Sean Payton decision. So I figured, you know what?
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it. Ranking the top 10 NFL draft prospects for this upcoming NFL draft. I am excited to do it along with Jeff. Are you ready for it?
I am so ready.
All right. Well, before we get to that, I got to tell all of you about Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free environment. It is so perfect for all of you trying to get to the gym for the first time. It is so important for your mental and physical health. And like they tell you, your fitness is essential. Start today, $0 down, $10 a month. We'll see you right after the break.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
It's time for another Overreaction Monday, where we make mountains out of molehills and press the panic button way too early.
I've answered it. Open your ears.
Only on the Morning Woodward Show. Woodward Sports.
You know, I typically don't come out of break without the, hey, you know, welcome back, let's do the next topic. But I saw a comment during the break that I really appreciated. And it's from MM. Not even so much Thomas, but this franchise needs to be bold sometimes. We always play it safe and it never works out. Thank you. When are you going to balls up and go get an OBJ? When are you going to balls up and go trade for a Von Miller? When? I'm just saying. Look, again.
I think those guys are for teams that are ready to compete.
But
in the past, I agree with you.
But I could argue this team in year 2 is a 6, 7, 8 win team.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
You bring in a Michael Thomas, you have a hell of a draft on the defensive side of the ball. I'm sorry. This is not Kool-Aid. That's a damn good roster.
Yeah.
You have one of the better O-lines in the NFL. You will have a prominent rush attack this year. You will have a quarterback that is proven with a good run game, he can be effective. You add an all-pro wide receiver and a very good defense and more skill set players on the defensive side of the ball for Aaron Glenn, you will be a happy camper, Detroit, I promise. Having said that, let's rank the top 10 draft prospects. Let's start at the top of the board. Who's your number 1 player in this draft?
So number one, we're going number one, I got Kayvon Thibodeau. And then that's based on ceiling. I thought long and hard about this. Aiden Hutchinson, he was the best college pass rusher in football. Had the most pressures among all edge rushers. But to me, I'm basing this guy draft prospects off who I think has the higher ceiling. Aiden might be more ready to play.
I agree. I don't think there's anybody at that position that has the ceiling he has. So I'm going to agree with you. At number one, Kayvon Thibodeau, edge rusher out of Oregon. Number two, Jeff.
Aiden Hutchinson. And he comes in right after him. Now, Kyle Hamilton is right behind Aiden. And this is the upside for Kyle is much higher. So I have no problem if you have him ranked number two. I understand that. 6'4" safety, can go sideline to sideline. I just think Aiden Hutchinson, my God, I think, yes, he's going to be more ready to play, but there's still a ceiling with Aiden. Or not a ceiling. You don't really know his ceiling with Aiden. He could be a 20-sack-a-year guy. You don't know. But he's the most ready to play, and I like Aiden coming out of college. So give me Aiden Hutchinson number two. It's close, though. Number three, I'm just going to give it away. You have Kyle Hamilton. I don't know what you have at number two.
Number two, I've got Evan. No, I've got Evan O'Neal.
Oh, Evan Neal. Okay.
I've got Evan Neal, outside. O lineman out of Alabama.
Okay.
I think he's the number two prospect. Not only do I think he's number two, I think he goes number one to Jacksonville.
Yep.
Unless Jacksonville trades back. But look, I mean, are they going to take an edge rusher? Are they going to take Stingley? Are they going to take Hamilton? No, they're going to take the lineman, protect the franchise quarterback, or at least that's what I think they'll do. So for me, number two, I've got Evan Neal as my number two prospect. Number three,
I've got Kyle Hamilton, and that's based on obviously upside and all that stuff. And Kyle Hamilton, we don't know what he could be. I don't want him at number two, but he's gonna be a damn good player, I think. I mean, if you take him at 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, it's gonna work out for every team that lands Kyle Hamilton. Now the value maybe not 1, 2. I like the edge rushers, and Evan Neal wouldn't have a problem if the Jags took him. Obviously, they need an offensive tackle, so based on need. But in terms of prospect and just who I like Kyle Hamilton number three.
All right, number three for me, Kyle Hamilton. I really wanted to put him at number two. I think arguably, he's neck and neck with Thibodeau as the best defensive prospect in this draft. But I'm going to have him at three. And you know what? Again, for the Detroit Lions' sake, not to get off topic too much, when you take a safety at two, I want you to look around the NFL and tell me what safety one is taken at two. Go look at all the all-pro safeties. They're all taken in the late first, early second, third rounds. Again, Hamilton jumps off the screen. I get it. I get the love and attention. I love it. Don't get me wrong. He's the number 3 rated prospect for me. Yeah. But it's tough for me to pull the trigger if I'm the Detroit Lions. All right, number 4, Jeff.
Number 4, I have Evan Neal. And listen, he might be very well the best offensive, we'll just call it lineman. He's a tackle, but he could be the great. He played multiple positions at Alabama, played left guard, left tackle, right tackle, very versatile. And, he didn't play too well in the championship game, but who the hell? I mean, what do you expect? I mean, that's a very good Georgia pass rush. He's learning. He's going to get in the NFL and get better. So I like Evan Neal number 4. I think he's a high ceiling.
All right, I'm with you. I don't mind the Evan Neal at 4. I had him at number 2. Number 4, I'm going to put Derek Stingley Jr. even above Aiden Hutchinson. Look, I think that's a hell of a corner out of LSU.
Yeah, great freshman season.
Great freshman season. I'm excited. Look, he's just one of those guys that's dynamic, high ceiling, and you look at ceiling that high in the board. So for me, I got him at number 4. Number 5.
I've Derek Stingley at number 5. And that is partially a ceiling. You saw the freshman season when he had 6 interceptions. Phenomenal. Ever since then, you hope he stays more healthy. But other than that, I agree with you. Ceiling's there, man. And if we're talking strictly corners, I mean, you got Derek Stingley and Ahmad Gardner as really the 2 top guys in this draft. So give me Derek Stingley as my top 5 best prospect in this draft.
All right, fair enough. Number 5, for me, Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay.
He's going to fall for me. I know you had him at number 2. He's going to be the number 5 prospect. I think he goes in the top 3. Look, the kid's got a high motor. I don't care that he struggled against Georgia. The dude is a phenomenal football player. Reminds me a lot of TJ Watt in terms of how relentless he is. Look, when you play in the trenches, motor is everything. You don't believe me? Ask Aaron Donald. He has one of, if not the best motor in the NFL. Doesn't take plays off, and that's why he's so damn good. So for me, For me, Aiden Hutchinson, number 5. Number 6, Jeff, I'll take over. Tyler Linderbaum.
We agree?
Oh, really?
Tyler Linderbaum.
Out of Iowa,
He's number 6.
I got the center out of Iowa as the number 6 prospect for me. God.
He's probably one of the highest rated centers, especially this year, historically.
Yeah, look, I mean, you just look what Creed Humphreys did. Look what Tristan Wirfs did. I know he's a right tackle, but look at Penei Sewell recently.
Yep.
Look, when you get an opportunity to take one of these guys, you do it. It really is franchise changing. Jeff, number 7.
I agree with you. Number 7 for me would have to be Nakobe Dean, and that's personal preference. I love Nakobe Dean, and then that's based off athleticism, what he does on the field. I love the upside for him. And listen, there's going to be other guys that are in this conversation. You have your George Kalafdises and all these other guys, but Ahmad Gardner. But I like Nakobe Dean. He might go top 10, top 15, but as a 7,
you're going to hate me.
It's all right. What's your number 7?
I think you all are gonna hate me because obviously I've been a big fan of Nakobe Dean.
But
I'm falling in love.
Devin Lloyd. That guy's a freaking.
I'm falling in love with Devin Lloyd every single day the more I watch him. Out of Utah, fantastic player. I'm gonna get him number 7 on my board. He is phenomenal. If he's available and Dean's available, I'm taking Lloyd. I am, and it has nothing to do with size. I love Devin Lloyd right now. I really do.
What do you have, like 7 sacks, 2-3 interceptions? The guy was all over the place.
I don't look at stats. What are you doing on the screen?
Well, production's important.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
what are you doing?
He flies sideline to sideline,
yeah.
And so does Dean. Don't get me wrong. But for me, number 7, I got Devin Lloyd. Number 8, if I may, Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama. Okay, injuries are scary.
They are.
But dude's special, and so is Mechie. And so is Olave. So are all. This is such a deep wide receiver class. Garrett Wilson. But for me, I think the one that stands above the rest is Jameson Williams. Jeff, number 8.
I'm going to go Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. And this is why. Listen, this year, one of the most smoothest pass protectors. I mean, he allowed 44 pressures in his first year. And this year, he only allowed 16. So the guy's getting better and better. And this is the league. You're going to go against the best pass rushers in the world. You need tackles. And Charles Cross, to me, he'll find his way into that top 10. I have him as the number 8 rated prospect. But in my opinion, man, the guy's tremendously improved. He'll go high in the draft.
All right, number 9 rated prospect for me.
Charles Cross.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, again, we're not too far off on most of these things, so I kind of don't mind it. He's going to be good. He's going to be very good in the NFL. Give me your number 9.
Ahmad Gardner. I love Ahmad Gardner. Listen, all 3 seasons at Cincinnati, he had 3 picks. I get who he's playing against. But talk about, we're not going to look at the stats. We'll just look at impact. And I see him making impacts all the time on that team. He'll be a top 15, 20 pick. But in terms of just prospect, I like Ahmad Gardner. I love his upside. And listen, in a league where you need to guard the best athletes on the planet, you need cornerbacks who can move and stay with their wide receiver. I like Ahmad Gardner. He's
all right,
quick.
Well, number 9 and number 10 for me.
Okay.
All right. I'm going quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell. Guys,
I don't have a quarterback.
It's a quarterback-driven league.
Good quarterback.
It is a quarterback, yes, of course. It's a quarterback-driven league. Don't be surprised if 3 quarterbacks go in the top 10. I'm telling you. Don't be surprised. And not only don't be surprised, expect it. Kenny Pickett, I think, is really, people are just falling in love with him. I don't blame them, but Jesus Christ, it's a bit much for me. But I think the same thing is going to happen with Sam Howell over the coming weeks and months. Watch out. So for me, Pickett and Howell, 9 and 10. Watch out.
My 9 and 10, well, obviously Ahmad Gardner. I have George Karlaftis, and that's out of Purdue. I mean, listen, edge rushers are always going to be king in this league. Kenny Pickett could be very good in terms of just prospect rated. He's right outside my top 10, but I don't have a problem. I'm honestly more surprised he got Sam Howell just because of this year and the year he's had. But
I think he's jumping up, man.
Yeah. That's
Watch
okay.
out.
I mean,
look,
you ain't wrong.
I'm telling you. What did we talk about earlier, Jeff?
Talk about franchise quarterback.
Franchise quarterbacks. Yeah. Why is it so hard to get one? And you scout them, and they have the arm. They have the mobility. They have the size. They have the tape. They have the ability to diagnose a defense. Why don't they make it in the NFL? It's like something you can't explain. And I promise you, when these scouts get in front of Sam Howell, they're going to recall, oh, wow, this is the number 1 guy for the last 3 years. No wonder. Look at these throws. Out of the pocket. Ability to move, escape pressure, evade pressure, move up in the pocket, deliver the ball. He can do it. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Yeah. That would be my preach for all of you.
And just to add also, I almost put Drake London in at 10 too. That guy, I mean, we're not really showing him any love, but tremendous prospect. Just the injury scares me, but there's a ton of other guys. Like we
Garrett Wilson and Drake London need more love.
We realistically could have did like 15, 20.
Guys, I could do a top 10 just off of wide receivers.
Yeah, you could.
Honestly. You know what? Maybe we do that. There are so many good wide receivers in this draft class. Yeah. And look, again, say it as you may. I don't care. The idea of getting Drake London at 31 potentially, or 32, or 29, 20, or whatever, 29 or 30. It doesn't matter. Like, that is an enticing decision that the Lions may have. But we got to go to break. When we get back, the Wings and the Blackhawks played last night. Jesus Christ, 13 goals. I don't even know where to start with it. But before we go, Jeff, could you please tell everybody about SMA?
Well, listen, guys, our friends at SMA have been doing great things. And the SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. With the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues. Soon coming to Woodward Sports, the Sports Marketing Agency podcast. If you're struggling with the substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com, and you see all the guys over there. They're helping everybody, man, that needs the help, and got to give love to our guys at SMA.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Go! Detroit Sports on Demand.
DeAndre Swift, he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. Open in the corner, he triples.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app today. Take us with you everywhere you go. Search Woodward Sports Network or WSN Live.
All right, we got some extra time, so we're going to start with the Wings and Blackhawks, and then we'll go into the top 10 wide receivers in this upcoming class. I think it's super interesting. It's a deep class, so hold on tight. Wings lose 8-5. Jeff, what the hell happened last night?
Oof, well, it wasn't the best from a goalkeeping standpoint. I mean, they allowed 4 goals in that first period. But the second period, they clawed back. It was very entertaining to watch. You had Bertuzzi, you had Fabry scoring. They scored 3 in the second period. And sitting there watching, as a Wings fan, I'm thinking, okay, they're at home. They got the momentum, 4-3. And that third period just kind of shut my ass up. They scored 4 goals. We scored 2. And listen, it was an entertaining game. I mean, we lost 8-5. And 13 goals to me, I mean, I was entertained. I didn't want 8 goals given up against Nedeljkovic. And, but it is what it is. But the reality is, you're watching that game. Calvin Pickard came in. Obviously, we were getting slaughtered as it is. Gave up another 3 goals on his own. Nedeljkovic allowed 4 of 16 shots against him. It just wasn't a great game from a defensive side. And Jeff Blashill talked about it at the press conference. They have to be better on that side. Offensively, you can score 5 goals. That's fine. But what are you doing on the other end? And Nedeljkovic and Pickard didn't really get a whole lot of help. So watching that game last night, Dylan Strome, I mean, what are you going to do? Got a hat trick. So the Wings, we know this. They haven't been very good. And there's certain players you could call out. We'll save that for another day. But the goalkeeping didn't help them, and it is what it is. I mean, they kept up with the shots, 38 shots, 33 for the Red Wings. I mean, you just got to do a better job of, especially these teams. I mean, the Blackhawks, 16, 20, and 7. They come out, score 8 goals at home, in Little Caesars Arena. They can't let that happen. But again, it's a long season. It's a marathon, not a race. The Wings are 18, 19, and 6. They're still trying to claw for that wild card spot. You got to look at the big picture, but they're going to have a long, hard thinking process about giving up 8 goals. They cannot do that. You're not going to win a single game in the NHL if you're giving up 8 goals unless you're just lights out offensively. So that's what I took from it. Entertaining game, to say the least. You saw a lot of guys show things, but at the end of the day, goalkeeping didn't help them out. And that's really what I took from
I think the highlight of the night, honestly, was Steve Yzerman talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or as they call him on Twitter, Sativa Yzerman. My boy was asked, hey, how do you handle all the stress, everything that comes with being a GM? How do you kind of give yourself some downtime to relax? And he said, in a beautiful way, well, I can't say that on national television. Can this guy not be any more perfect, honestly? Seriously, Steve, we love you, man.
I know, man.
We love you, seriously. Unbelievable.
The response was great.
But let's get into it, Jeff. All right, let's move on real quick. Top 10 wide receivers this upcoming draft. Here we go. I'll start with my number 1 wide receiver. I kind of mentioned it or hinted it in our top 10 prospects. I'm going to go number 1, Jamison Williams, on my board.
Okay.
All right. Receiver out of Alabama. He He just knows how to make big plays. In college, he averaged 20.6 yards a catch.
Yeah, multiple touchdowns over 75 yards. I mean, the guy
he's
run.
a home run hitter. For me,
Yeah.
he's my number one receiver on the board.
And for me, this was very hard. It was Jamison Williams, and just thinking long and hard about it, I'm going to go from wide receivers upside. I think Drake London, to me, the best prospect. Now, will he be the best wide receiver? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. A lot of talented wide receivers in this class, but I like Drake London. I like his upside. I like his size. He's going to be a problem for corners, but at the end of the day, Jamison Williams is a big playmaker, and you got to be a playmaker in this league to have success. But I'm going to put Drake London at first just to have different opinions here. But who's your number two?
My number two, this was hard. I'm going to go Drake London.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson, I think, is the consensus one right now on most boards. Not a knock on Garrett Wilson, Olave. They're all great. Don't get me wrong. But for me, Drake London, size, speed, athleticism, can beat you downfield. Again, similar to Jameis Williams. Big play potential. Yeah, sorry, Drake London, a specimen for me. He's number two on my board.
Yeah, number two for me, Jamison Williams. And that was the hardest thing. One or two, take Jamison, you take Drake London. I don't care. Garrett Wilson, they're all three greats. But what separates a man is, I talked about that playmaking ability and his ability to get downfield and get open. And if he gets a quarterback in this league that can hit him downfield, you watch that Rams and Bucks game at the end of the game and how important that is to be able to hit the open receiver. So give me Jamison Williams at number two. I got no issue with that.
All right, Garrett Wilson, number three, obviously.
Yep.
Falls from 1 to 3 for me on my board.
It's too damn good.
He's natural, healthy. And that's another problem with Jamison Williams. Even though I have him 1 on the board, he is coming off a pretty significant injury, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's going to play a factor. Mechie the third, going to play a factor. Will these guys drop? But talent-wise, I'm going to have Garrett Wilson at number 3 on my board. I love the kid. My goodness. I mean, Ohio State, wide receiver university right now outside of LSU. An abundance of talent. And going into next year, they're going to have Smith and Jimba, Marvin Harrison Jr., and, of course, whoever the hell else they get, number 1, that's rated out from high school. Unbelievable, Ohio State. They're so damn good.
They are.
Who's your number 3?
Number 3, Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
And it's hard because you're looking at all these wide receivers. I would take Garrett Wilson over the rest of the receivers I'm about to name, but Jamison and Drake London, there's a debate there. I mean, you can really talk about it. So give me Garrett Wilson number 3. I got no issue with it, but it'll start getting interesting at 4, 5, and 6 as we go down.
This is where I think maybe we're going to disagree a bit. Treylon Burks out of Arkansas going to be my number 4. Guy, 6'3", 225, speed. I don't think anybody has the speed that he has in this class, especially with 2 of the guys who I would consider speedsters coming off of ACL injuries. Oh, my goodness. Burks flies off the TV. Absolutely flies off. Great kid. 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns, I believe, for Arkansas this year. A true junior. So 21 years old, you're getting a young stud. He's number 4 on my board.
Well, Treylon Burke, that was the hardest thing for me, and he very well, I have no problem with that. The man had 11 scores this year, 11 touchdowns, a little over 1,000 yards. He averaged 17 yards per catch. That is ridiculous. That guy is going to beat men downfield. I slightly had John Mechie just because, and Jahan Dotson, those type of guys. I'm going to lean towards... It's tough because if you want to go scoring output, you got Jahan Dotson, 12 touchdowns on the year, over almost 1,200 yards. I'm going to stick with Mechie. I like Mechie. I like his ability to create space. I mean, the guy finds a way open, very crafty route runner, and that's kind of who I like in my wide receiver. Just get open. That's the whole point. Get open, and it doesn't matter. You can run short routes, intermediate, downfield. I like Mechie, but Jahan Dotson, it's really a toss-up between those two, and the Treylon Burks. I mean, take any of the 3, you're going to be solid. So.
Okay, I don't...
Injuries do play a factor. So
yeah, Mechie's going to fall for me because of that injury.
Okay, so if you're doing injuries...
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's part of it.
Okay, then...
I don't blame you. Look, he's super talented, and that's why I have Jameson Williams number 1. I just think supremely talented. But Olave is going to be number 5 for me.
Okay.
I have Burks over Olave. God, how do you even describe Olave, honestly? Honestly. How?
Yeah.
How do I describe a guy that just puts up numbers on the board?
Gets in the end zone, too.
He finds the end zone, 16 touchdowns this year? Unbelievable. Olave, number 5 on my board. That's just the top 5. I just listed 5 guys that can probably go in the first round. At one position. Jesus Christ. Who's your number 5?
All right, so number 5 for me, I'm going to go Treylon Burks. And looking at him, and I talked about that 17 yards per catch, that's going to mean something in the NFL. 6'3", big frame, physical, and can get open. Listen, he might not have the route tree that Mechie has, but no doubt in my mind, this is a league. Speed kills. And if you got a guy who can get open downfield, As long as he pairs with the right quarterback, he'll be just fine. So give me Treylon Burks, connected for 11 scores on the season. I like Treylon Burks, so that's my number 5.
All right, awesome. Number 6, this is tough for me. I like Mechie a lot. I really do. Give me Jahan Dotson. He's more healthy.
That's who I have at 6 as well.
Again, 5'11", maybe the slot guy, but he only dropped 2 passes.
Yeah.
Out of the 93 catchable targets he had this year.
Most important.
He's got hands. He's got hands. He's a sure thing. We saw what he did against some of the better teams in the Big Ten this year. Yeah, give me Jahan Dotson at number 6 on my board.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jahan Dotson as well. I had the same pick. Listen, I talked about it. Mechie, Treylon Burks, you got Jahan Dotson. The size does, you talk about Jahan Dotson, 5'11". He's not really going to be able to play outside as much. You can use him in the slot. But you have him on Ross St. Brown, so if you're talking the Lions, that'll be a fit. But Jahan Dotson to me, like you said, you brought it up. The receptions is important. Drop 2 passes. And who do you have at quarterback? There you go, Steve Clifford. So give me Jahan Dotson, great wide receiver, and no problem with him at 6.
All right, cool. Number 7, I'm going to move Sky Moore out of Western all the way up to number 7. Yes, even over Mechie. Look, the guy, good luck tackling him. Let's just put it that way. The guy led the nation in broken tackles during the regular season with 26. Yes, he's only 5'10", but my goodness, he makes people miss. Sky Moore, number 7 on my board. Jeff.
Number 7, I have Chris Olave. And partially it has to do with the fact that, listen, he is a senior. He's played all 4 years at Ohio State, but the guy has a knack for the end zone. Most touchdowns in Ohio State history for a wide receiver. Give me Chris Olave. I know he's older, but you get a guy who's ready to play right away and understands, he can run pretty much every route you want him to. He's got the size. You can play him on the outside. Give me Chris Olave. I like him. And you already took him in your mock draft, so there's a possibility there. So give me Chris Olave at number 7. I'll take it.
Number 8, David Bell. Sorry, Mechie. Love you, buddy.
David Bell's
David Bell's
stud.
moving up, man. I really like him. But again, where do you start with some of these guys? 93 catches, 1,300 yards, 6 scores. They're all putting up numbers. So really, for me, number 8, David Bell. That's my guy. Purdue. I'd like him maybe in the second round. But again, what's going to happen with the Lions board? I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. You're not going to know till the day of the draft, and you can all tweet out your live reactions and what you think they should do. But up until then, you're really unsure. You're doing these mock simulators. You don't know who's going to be available. Who falls to the 3rd round? Does Mechie fall? Because he's falling on my board. He's number 9. How far is he going to fall on the board for NFL teams? Jeff?
Listen, we're at number 9 now. So number 9, I had David Bell at 8. Agree with you there. No problem with David Bell. Listen, the guy, almost 1,300 yards, didn't find the end zone as much, but Purdue's a heavy passing offense, and he succeeded in it. He was a big part of it, 1,300 yards, 93 receptions. Give me David Bell. I know he's injured right now, but the fact of the matter is I could see him slide into that 2nd round. So he's talented enough to do it, and people forget. Had 1,000 yards in his freshman season as well, 600 yards the previous year. So he's been productive,
man. All these guys are productive
every year. So
Pickens, number 10 for me on the list out of Georgia. I think we agree on that one.
Yeah, so, and that's based on
and that rounds it out.
Yeah, and that's based on prospect. I mean, look at George Pickens, 6'3".
Yeah, look, I mean, we're at
frame.
the 10th receiver now at this point. Come on, the first 5, 6 are unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
So we got to head to break. When we get back, is the general manager position in the NFL, Jeff, becoming more important than the coaching position?
Could be.
We'll get to that right after the break. But before we go, I got to tell you about the Folding Warehouse, the ultimate place for family and team building fun. Home of the bowling pin game where you throw a football at it, of course, called Folding. Check out Folding in Hamtramck and visit their website at foldingwarehouse.com. That's foldingwarehouse.com. Check them out today. Guys, a $2 Mystic Beer machine, over 100 beers. You can cater your own food, multiple bars throughout the facility. It is a great time for family and friends. Check them out again, Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck.
Start your new year with a new network. Woodward Sports Network is here. Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Oh, Jeff, as we continue on, and as the NFL continues to change and grow, Is the general manager position becoming more important than the head coach?
Absolutely.
Really?
I think so, because it takes unless you have great ownership, and not a lot of teams can say that, it takes a good GM to find the coach. I mean, look at the Giants. I mean, the Giants finally got it right and got Joe from the Buffalo Bills, this excellent, high IQ guy, and now he's doing his due diligence with the coach, and he's hopefully going to get it right with Brian Dable. Before, Dave Gettleman, you hire Joe Judge, you hire who? Ben McAdoo? No. It depends on the GM. And that's why I love when organizations, I know the Lions, they brought in Brad Holmes first and then brought in Dan Campbell. Maybe they threw the idea to Holmes. He was okay with it. But overall, it was, I'm picking the GM, I'm picking the coach. Hope you guys like each other. And it works out sometimes if they're great guys. Obviously, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, they get along. But I like when the Chicago Bears, for example, or I don't like when they're going to get Ryan Poles, respective GM, great GM, but they're going to hire the coach with hopefully the help of Ryan Poles. But I think it's the most ideal situation. You bring in, look at Tom Telesco for the Chargers. Look what he was able to do. They get rid of Anthony Lynn. He knows and he understands, listen, I've got a guy in my own city that I like at defensive coordinator for the Rams. I'll bring him in to be our head coach. And so far, it's working out. So if you got a good general manager, that overrules the possibility of effing up your head coach, because organizationally, it's been a problem. Yeah, you get Bob Quinn. If you hire a bonehead as your GM, guess what? You're going to get a bonehead as your head coach in Matt Patricia. So it's a domino effect. So yes, general manager is very important, man. It is. It depends on, you look around now. Jacksonville, you like their situation, but look who's their general manager. Then they still have him as general manager. That's the same guy who brought in Urban Meyer. Will he mess up the next overall hire? I don't know. I hope not. But general manager is absolutely important, Adam. That's a big factor on who you hire. Now, if the ownership overrules you, it's a different story. But you need to hit on that general manager. I think it's a big part. Connections are important. If you hire a general manager that's from Kansas City, Buffalo, wherever it is, they're going to be able to bring in a pretty nice, well-respected head coach. So to me, it matters.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I could make the argument that there are 3 positions that are equally as valuable, and without all 3, it is difficult to succeed at the highest level, which I guess we can agree is the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
You need a GM, you need a head coach, and you need the quarterback. Everything else can be solved pretty easily. Fair or not?
That's fair.
What do you think?
That's fair.
Now, has it become more important than the head coach? That is a tough argument to make, because they play such a role hand in hand, right?
Yeah, they do.
Les Snead, the longtime Rams GM, we forget, was part of the group that hired a Jeff Fisher and then fired the Jeff Fisher. And finally, when McVay showed up, it was then where the Jared Goff selection actually turned out and worked out. It did. So, for me, if you have a great GM and an average head coach, it works. If you have an average GM or a good GM and a great coach, it works. Like,
it's hand in hand.
It all works together. You can't have one and not the other. It's like the quarterback head coach argument. Brady and Belichick, Walsh, Montana. Like, there's Peyton and Dungy.
Breeze and Sean Payton.
Breeze and Peyton. Name me any all-time great quarterback. I will show you an all-time head coach that was next to them at the time.
Agreed.
Holmgren. Favre. Like, this is a reality. Very good. You need very good decision makers. And I think to win it all, you need to have all 3. My way of thinking.
Yeah.
But I think the GM is becoming more and more important. We're seeing it. We're seeing these guys, player personnel. All the guys that are director of player personnel, they're getting GM jobs within 2-3 years, especially if they're successful. That's just the reality. Ryan Poles. Eric Dodds.
I mean, hell,
guys, we forget the Atlanta Falcons GM.
Yep.
Vladimir, and I forget how to say his last name. He is an available GM right now. The same guy that built the Atlanta Falcons into a Super Bowl team and traded up to get Julio Jones. Like, there's good GMs out there. It really has become so very important. But I think at the end of the day, the GM, yes, has a huge role in picking the players, making the tough decisions, but it plays a hand-in-hand role with the head coach. The head coach needs the GM to be competent. He needs the GM to make the right moves. Sean McVay needed Les Snead to go out and get OBJ. Who knew that Robert Woods would have gotten hurt? Nobody. But still, It worked out. And I think they're just as important to each other as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not comfortable saying the GM or the head coach is more valuable. I think we're starting to see just how much power GMs really do have and the impact they make.
Yeah.
Especially on the teams that don't have a good head coach or a great head coach.
Or teams that don't have a great general manager and they haven't been able to find a quarterback.
Look at Minnesota.
Yeah.
You can't tell me. You cannot tell me their GM wasn't a good GM. Did he ever nail the head coach, though? No. Like, welcome to life as a GM. You can pick great. You can draft Justin Jefferson. You can draft Dalvin Cook. You can make all those moves. But if you sign Kirk Cousins and you keep Mike Zimmer in an offensive league, well, now you're out of a job. Not because you're not good at your job, but those are the decisions you have to live with. So, yeah, Jeff, look, I'm not ready to say that one is more important than the other. But, man, this wave, even look at Brad Holmes right now. How important was Brad Holmes year one for the Detroit Lions?
So important.
You could have given any head coach on that team. The fact that you had Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown walk out as absolute studs, all rookie players. One's in the first, one's in the fourth. Oh, man. You can't ask for more. And you'll see again, Brad Holmes, he'll have to make moves this offseason. And if he can have back-to-back good off seasons, watch out for the Detroit Lions. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. This game is not hard. Make good decisions for a long period of time. You will have long-term success. Am I missing something, Jeff?
No. And it goes hand in hand. I think that's the point you're hammering down. It has to do with a lot. When I talk about GM and ownership, look at Shad Khan for the Jags. Brought in Urban Meyer. I mean, I would like my general manager selecting those types of positions, but you need all three. You need a good head coach, you need a good general manager, and you need a good quarterback. Look at the Rams right now. We talked about Jeff Fisher. He corrected that mistake, brought in Sean McVay. Now they have Matthew Stafford, and potentially they have a chance to make the Super Bowl. So a lot of things have to go into play, but...
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins is overhated, unbelievable Matthew Stafford Detroit treatment. No, man. No. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. He's no Matthew Stafford. All right? Stop.
Talk about the it factor.
Kirk Cousins is in the Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, that like middle of the pack conversation for quarterback. He's nowhere near top 8, top 10 elite of the elite quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins had his best year, but he didn't have it, and neither did the Vikings, and that's why they're in a total rebuild right now.
Yeah.
Oh God, I think. Oh, you know, guys, honestly, you should thank the Green Bay Packers. You really should for this comment, Adam. I would totally like. Oh, no, excuse me. I like Tony Mandarich. Let me tell you. You should be at the knees of every Green Bay Packers fan, thanking them that they busted and took that idiot lineman. Because I promise you, if they take anyone else, the Lions end up taking Tony Mandarich. And probably half of us are dead because we would have committed suicide. And I am not joking. That's the story of that. We got to go to break. Get your questions lined up. It's mailbag time. My goodness, my favorite part of the show. Get your questions. We'll answer to them. We'll be right back. It'll only take a minute or so. We'll see you after the break.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Whether you're listening in live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or you're listening in after the show on the radio, 99.1 FM, 93.5 FM, 94.7 HD2 on the Roar, or you've downloaded our podcast and you're tuning in anytime throughout your day. God knows how busy you are on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music. Thank you for joining us. Let's get the questions in the chat. Better NFL career, Walker or Haskins?
Ooh.
I think Walker has a higher ceiling. I think he has outstanding field vision.
He's so elusive, man.
But Hassan Haskins, man, he reminds me of Adrian Peterson in terms of how he runs. He's so physical, aggressive. But if you're asking me today, it's going to be Kenneth Walker. Jeff?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Kenneth Walker, higher upside, that's what I look for. This question, Jameson Williams, wide receiver out of Alabama, yes or no for the second-round pick, and why? The question is, do you think he falls to the second-round pick? If he does, absolutely. And this is the question with Mechie. If you don't have to take a wide receiver in the first round, I have no problem waiting to that second-round pick. It's like a couple picks away. Just wait about 4 picks.
Yeah, my problem with it is the Lions do have the number 2 pick, so only one team will pick a player. But again, it's one day. You have to wait till the next night, and teams are reevaluating. What are we going to do?
Some teams might trade up.
You never know. So I like this question. Should the Detroit Lions let Dan Campbell call plays or hire an offensive coordinator? I have been pushing this for weeks now. Let Dan Campbell call the plays. I'm a big believer that when you have an opportunity to be a head coach in the NFL, and you've already gotten rid of your first OC halfway into the year, basically, you need to step up to the plate, man. You called plays towards the end. The team was actually a lot better. The offense was much more watchable.
Yeah.
You have an entire offseason to reinvent yourself again. If you know what you want, Dan Campbell, go ahead and call the plays. I have no problem, because either way, whether you call them or not, you will be held liable for the success of this team. And if I'm the head coach, and damn it, I feel I am the most capable in the room of calling the plays, I'm going to do it. My job's on the line. If I get fired in Detroit, I'm not getting another job. I got to make it work. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I'm calling the plays. Jeff, what do you think?
I like it. See, I'm kind of seeing in the middle. I want an offensive coordinator. I've been on Ben Johnson all year, but it doesn't mean he does. It takes the play calling duties away from Dan Campbell. I think he still has a big, input on that. You saw the ending of the last season, how terrific the offense at least improved. It got way better. They scored 30-something points against the Packers that last game. Yes, the backups were in, but I like Dan Campbell. So I like when the control's in his hands. So if you have someone else calling plays, better hope he's good.
All right, let's do thoughts on Mike McDonald.
Oh, I was hoping to talk about this.
Possibly going back to Baltimore. 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean Harbaugh's leaving?
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean for Michigan moving forward on the defensive side of the ball, when honestly you had been preaching for years, begging for them to get rid of the former defensive coordinator who was an absolute bum, Don Brown. Goodbye, my friend. Enjoy retirement. You suck. 1 year, Mike McDonald, you win the Big Ten. I think it matters. I think it's a big loss, honestly, if it does happen. What do you think? Does Harbaugh leave?
It's a big loss. That's the easy answer to that question. With Mike McDonald, you understand maybe it was the uncertainty of Jim that made him kind of push back to go to the NFL with John, but I think it honestly makes the case more that Jim Harbaugh's leaving. I know he could hire a great defensive coordinator, but assistants are looking at other jobs. Like, this is kind of it's telling us something that we don't know, and it might be Jim's. We've already heard the report. If the Raiders offered him the job, he would say absolutely hell yes. So I think we'll wait and see, but it ain't looking good for Jim. He'll probably go to the NFL. We got
Flores to Houston, Caldwell to Chicago, Moore to Minnesota. Man, Jim Caldwell can kiss my ass at this point, honestly. He can kiss my ass. And all the Jim Caldwell supporters can kiss my ass too. So tired of this. Jim Caldwell, the one we let get away, Detroit, how could we ever? Really? It's the same jackass that didn't win a division or a playoff game, and he had 2 opportunities. It's the same guy that's 0-2 in the playoffs with Matthew Stafford. Same guy that told Martin Mayhew, I believe Eric Ebron is what we're missing in order for us to compete for a championship. Mayhew, make the call. Eric Ebron is the guy. This Aaron Donald kid, we don't need him. Really? That's why you let Sue and Fairley go, huh? I can't stand the Caldwell era. I really can't. We accept mediocrity. I'm so tired of it. Oh, well, at least we were 9-7 and 9-7 the last 2 years. It's better than Patricia. Patricia was garbage. But stop propping up Caldwell like he was the freaking saint, the Messiah, when he really wasn't. God damn it. Mike Zimmer won a division. Matt Nagy won a division. They both have gotten fired. Matt Nagy in 4 years, 2 playoff appearances, 1 division title. More than Jim Caldwell. None of you want him hired, huh? Jesus Christ. Kellen Moore, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. I don't even know. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. I think he stays another year. You can't lose the way you did. Just coach a whole entire game against the Niners that poorly. You can't be that bad against the Niners at home and think like, oh yeah, he's going to get a job. I don't think Kellen Moore leaves. I really don't.
No.
Flores to Houston, I think, is a good choice, especially because he's been rumored with Deshaun Watson all this time.
That would make the most sense.
All right, I like this question, and this is probably going to piss a lot of people off. Which is worse, Okudah over Herbert or Ebron over Donald? I'm going to go Ebron over Donald, because if they have Aaron Donald, they have not only the defensive rookie of the year that year, they have an all-pro interior lineman who can play on the end for the next 6-7 years. And we're having totally different conversations. I may not even be here.
I like that answer because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, when you think of it, you're like, Justin Herbert, of course. Well, if you take Justin Herbert, you don't have Aaron Donald. You don't have these guys. So with Aaron Donald being there with the Lions during that run and what that team looked like, Matthew might have stayed a little bit longer if you're able to win more games. So give me Aaron Donald. I like that. Generational player.
Hey, Cujo Bob. Excuse me, Justin. I apologize. But go fuck yourself, my friend. Caldwell sucks per this guy. But then goes on to say how the GM made all the mistakes. No, that's not what I said, dumbass. Maybe if you'd listen, open up your ears, that would be fantastic. It was actually Jim Caldwell. Maybe you should kind of go back in history and see how that decision was made. Who not only lobbied, but damn it, put his foot down, put his fist on the table, and said it's Eric Ebron or nothing. Your head coach, who does suck. Yes, he does. He's not a good coach. He's average.
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. He's not a bad coach.
He's Matt Nagy. He's Mike Zimmer. He's not special. And those two jackasses that I just listed have division titles.
That's important.
And the same NFC North that this guy coached in with Aaron Rodgers in it. And when Caldwell was here, may I remind you, when Caldwell was here, Aaron Rodgers was hurt for 2 of the 4 years. So shut the hell up and stop making excuses. You idiots. I don't tolerate stupidity in the chat. Sorry. Not going to happen. 62-50 as a head coach, losing record in the NFL. Won the AFC South twice, yes, with Peyton Manning. Congratulations. Couldn't do it with Matthew Stafford, who did it year 1 away from Detroit. Division winner, 2 playoff wins. Kick rocks. 0-2 with Matthew Stafford as your quarterback. Oh, may I remind you, Jim Caldwell, the sissy that wouldn't go for on 4th and 1 in the playoffs in Dallas territory, where we proceeded to punt it 17 yards. Do I have to remind you guys about that? Pathetic.
Might have to.
Pathetic.
Might have to.
Pathetic.
Yeah. I think 2 things can be true. People like to understand Jim Caldwell's most.
He was a good coach. Middle of the pack coach.
Yeah.
What the hell is that doing for me?
Brought the Lions something.
If he's a good coach,
winning.
what the hell is Wayne Fonts? He may be Jesus Christ himself.
Exactly.
What am I doing here, Terry? How you doing? Can we get Terry's mic? Terry Foster in here just chilling.
I know. I love Terry.
Just chilling. Terry, I gotta smack some fools every once in a while.
Huh?
I gotta smack, I gotta bitch smack some people every once in a while.
I understand. You have your children to battle with out there. I understand that. But see, I don't think Wayne Fontes was a good coach either. He had exceptional talent, and that team underachieved. And from talking to his ex-players, kind of off the record, there are a lot of things they wish Wayne had done. For instance, how about not having your brothers be the defensive backs coach back-to-back? How about not taking Barry Sanders out of the game when you get inside the 10-yard line? There's a lot of things that Wayne did that were weird. But, he had Herman Moore. He had Chris Spielman. He had Kevin Glover. Lomas Brown. He had all-pro players.
And not only that, Terry, he had a period in time where the NFC North was actually in its down phase. The Packers hadn't won the division in 28 years. The Vikings hadn't been to the Super Bowl since '77. They were struggling. The Bears were kind of up and down. Like the Lions were basically the best roster throughout the 4 or 5 year stretch.
Yeah, and here's what the Lions did. When they had the last place schedule, they'd win the division or finish second. When they had the first place schedule, they finished 3rd or 4th. So I am not one of those guys. Wayne Fontes, the winningest coach in Lions history. It doesn't mean he was a good coach.
No,
exactly.
He came through at a very good time, and I'm not on the Wayne Fontes is a great coach bandwagon. Even though
I don't
Wayne
think he
Fontes
is
called
either.
himself a great coach.
Yeah, he's not. He's high and drunk at the same time.
He's all right.
He's average.
Is that the issue? Like, we have Jim Caldwell, Wayne Fontes, yes, you're the Lions organization, but that's what we look at as
when have the Lions
the
ever
greatest
hired a Hall of
coaches in
Fame
our
GM or
organization.
head coach?
Never.
Oh, wait.
Hasn't happened yet.
Ding, ding, ding. Well, it's 10 o'clock. That's it. Fish is yelling at me to get off the mic, so I will. Have a great Thursday.
Yep.
Tomorrow, you guys are not ready for it.
Oh.
I am so excited for
Wait,
tomorrow's
what's happening
show.
tomorrow?
It's gonna
Ton
be a
of
great
football. Preview the AFC. Oh, you...
Terry,
All right,
I'm not ready
Justin,
for Monday.
excuse me again. I have to swear one more time. You motherfuckers are not ready for me on Monday if the Rams win. I'm just going to tell you right now. You are not
I don't
ready.
think I will be.
You thought Monday was bad? Oh, my God.
Hopefully,
So-
hopefully no strippers.
Can I say something? Because you're doing all this on Monday.
Yeah.
What if they win the Super Bowl? Do you have something to go
I'm
like
gonna
one step
10X.
about that?
What I did Monday, I'm going to 10X this Monday
Yep.
if they win. And if
That's
God
fine.
forbid they win the Super Bowl, I may drive a goddamn Brinks trunk through this goddamn building. I just may.
Well, it's better
I
than
may show
D-Mac
up with a
throwing the
limo
chair
full
out the
of 50
window.
strippers. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. We got to go. Have a great Thursday, everybody.